Good day, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the show. Glad to have you guys here this Wednesday, the 19th of July, 2023. Thank you for tuning in. This guy right here, Jim Rickards, the guy right above my head. You guys probably familiar with him. Remember years ago listening to him talk about how he sat in on war games for the CIA or whatever. And what it was about was that they were running like these computer scenarios or war games, and China in the war games was using gold as a weapon of mass financial destruction. And in the use of this, they were trying to come up with alternatives and things to see their way through gold being used as a weapon by the East. And this was a very, very long time ago. I was listening to programs about this when I first started my channel, I think. A long time ago. And I remember all those years. I was running my channel on here and I was telling you guys, oh, they're shipping the gold east to China again. Another big shipment. They're smelting it into 1 kilogram size gold bars and packing it away for themselves. And oh, China's got over 20,000 tons now. And they're accumulating more. And Russia's got more and they're accumulating more. And they're all putting it away. Why? Well, now we're getting down to the nitty gritty. And I mean, I'm just being a realist about things like this. What was this right here? Oh, okay, we're getting into things here. The BRICS currency project. Call it a currency project. This is not a project. They know exactly what they're doing. They're trying to destroy us financially because they know that the entire Western world, I mean, this is absolutely unbelievable. I mean, I couldn't even sit here with a straight face. If it wasn't true, I couldn't sit here with a straight face and tell you guys this. It's so absurd. That all of our money over here in the West, all the countries, the United Kingdom, the whole European Union, Canada, the United States, all of us over here, Japan, Sweden, all of us, all of our countries. We've all got currency that's not backed by anything at all. It's just a bunch of paper. I can't even believe it. How did we get in this situation where all of our currencies are just a bunch of paper backed by nothing? And they've seen their opportunity over in the East to basically call us, to slowly but quietly accumulate all the gold, which is the real wealth of the world, and then call us on it and destroy us financially. And they saw this coming way back when Jim Rickards was doing these war scenarios. They knew it way back then. And this was way back around the time that Bitcoin was invented, more or less, give or take, way back around that time. Bitcoin, I think, was invented in 2009. They knew way back in the early days, they knew that China was going to, in Russia and these countries of the East, were going to use gold as a financial weapon. So they've had a long time to prepare. Now what's interesting is, I remember when I first learned about Bitcoin, it was Bitcoin was gold, and it still is. Bitcoin is gold. It's supposed to be gold. It's digital gold. And Litecoin was silver. And those were the two primary coins originally, going back when. But Bitcoin's still gold. Gold. And this is curious. Digital gold. And it even mines like gold. You mine it out of the internet. Kind of the way they mine gold. And it's always diminishing supplies. Worse than real gold even. The diminishing of the return. Every 4 years, they cut it in half. The amount that you're going to be mining out of the internet is cut in half every 4 years. It's called a halving. This is very interesting when we start figuring it into what this economic weapon and how all of this has been planned in this warfare. So we got into this trade war during the Trump administration. And basically it works like this. Countries that are in the trade war want to bring the other countries down with global trade, use it as a weapon, a weaponized global trade. And what's the objective? Well, more than likely to bring regime change about in the country that you're attacking financially. And how do you do that? Well, you make the citizens so poor and so dissatisfied that they burn their own government down and reinstall a new government. And that's considered success in the modern day warfare. That's been done many times. List of dictators. You know, it says, this is a Google search I got on here. It says, list of dictators that tried to undermine the petrodollar. Immediately brings up, you know, it says Saddam Hussein, Muammar Gaddafi, and so on. You know? It also says here, Oxford University Press, they got a little thing here. I'm not going to go to the site right here, but I'm just going to take a quick look at what it says here. It says, five economic sanctions and the defeat of dictators. In sum, dictators are the most sensitive to revenue loss. And we know that sanctions undermine patronage and strategies, and it goes on to list, and probably talks in great detail about this in the paper, but basically hit them with sanctions and then hit them with worse things after you undermine them. In the end, ultimately, it's all about getting rid of the dictator or getting rid of the leader of the country that you're attacking financially. You know, and so this is the way modern warfare is done. Simply put. They're trying, it's us. We're the empire. The United States of America and the West, the alliance that calls itself NATO, is similar to the Roman Empire in ancient times. And so the petrodollar itself is tribute. And how do you maintain that tribute? With military. An excellent military. And yes, they have an excellent military to maintain the tribute. But they're not going to let... So what happens all of a sudden, you know? You get these countries conspiring together to use gold to undermine our exorbitant privilege of tribute that we have here in the West. It's gave us a lavish lifestyle beyond our means for many years. Do you think they're really just going to throw down the gauntlet? Say, hey, you know what? Go ahead, China. Go ahead, Russia. Take it. Make us all poor over here. Take away our livelihoods. Take away everything we got. Use your gold as a weapon. No. I'll tell you what's going to happen. Read it for yourself. Read for yourself the full memo from the AMC's General Mike Minhan, right from the Pentagon. You know, it's right here. This is a real memo from the Department of the Air Force. Right here. Take a look. Department of the Air Force memo. This is the real deal. I'm not quoting you guys something that isn't real right here. This is real deal. Headquarters of Air Mobility Command, right there. Department of the Air Force. Memorandum for AFCC, ECCC, 22 AFCC, 4 FFCC, 618 AOC, CC, all AMC wing commanders. This is the real deal. February 1st, 2023. Dated. Subject. Orders in preparation for. They're telling them to mentally prepare themselves in this memorandum The situation. 1. The situation. I hope I am wrong, but my gut tells me we will fight in 2025. Chinese President Xi Jinping secured his third term, and set his war council on October 2022. Taiwan's presidential elections are in 2024, and Xi, or XI, will offer XI a reason. The United States presidential elections are in 2024 and will offer Xi, or XI, a distracted America. XI's team reason and opportunity are all aligned for 2025. We spent 2022 setting the foundation for victory. We will spend 2023 in crisp operational motion building on that foundation. If you want to know what the operational motion I demand looks like, look at what the Total Force Team Charleston did in January. Commander's intent: go faster, drive readiness, integration, and agility for ourselves and the joint force to deter, if required, defeat China. This is the first of 8-month directive from me. He's giving them a directive. And what's the directive? Drive readiness, basically. End state, a fortified, ready, and integration and agile joint force maneuver team ready to fight and win inside the first Allen chain. He's talking about in the Pacific, a war in the Pacific. He's telling them at number 6, 6A, right here. All AMC-aligned personnel with weapons qualifications will fire a clip into a 7-meter target with full understanding that unrepenting lethality matters most. Aim for the head. This is in preparation for China and Chinese soldiers. It says aim for the head. It says all commanders will acknowledge this order directly to me immediately. Then report all 22 accomplishments in preparation for the China fight. This is he says in the end of this thing, he says, let's go, General Michael A. Minham, General USA Air Force Commander. He's telling them to prepare themselves, which includes mental preparation and everything else for a war. No later than, what does it say here, 2025? From the Air Mobility Command. This is some serious stuff here. What do they know that you don't know? Is it that the United States of America does not want to be destroyed financially? And the BRICS have a plan to use gold to take us down, so far down that we can't even fight a war? We wouldn't even be, if they make us poor enough and they destroy the dollar hard enough, we wouldn't even be able to afford to bring the troops home. Besides fight. But are they going to go down like that without a fight? What do you guys think? And why did they prepare this memo? Just that most people got their head in the sand and they're not paying any attention to what in the hell's going on out there right now. Well, you better pay attention. I'm sorry to tell you guys this in such blunt terms, but we're headed toward World War III right now. Russia and China are friends. And Russia alone out there is pushing against Europe right now like crazy. Don't know where they're going to strike next. And they've got an unbelievable amount of nuclear weapons, and so does China. This is a sad situation. How can the world get out of this situation? Well, as long as the people remain silent, The world leaders, they're going to do it. They're going to do what they want to do. They're having a party right now. You know? The people are like a bunch of cats. They're all on vacation. It's like Dr. Seuss. They're all on vacation. They're out there sitting and they're sipping their tea around their picnic tables and all laughing and joking and everything else. People are like a bunch of cats. Meanwhile, the world leaders are like the mice inside the house, and they're having a party right now because, well, the cat's away, the mice shall play, or the rats shall play. Just kidding around. But anyway, you guys get the point. So anyway, we're going to get in here and take a look at the markets today and see what's happening. 25.07 for silver. It was cracked $25. Like I tell you, be a little bit careful, right? Tread carefully just yet, because the Fed hasn't pivoted yet. So with markets and with gold and with silver, got to tread carefully until the Fed pivots. The Fed's going to pivot. They're going to pivot quite suddenly when they pivot. And it's going to be because there's going to be a sudden downturn, a sharp downturn coming. We got like a blow-off top happening right now in the market. And as long as the Fed continues with tight monetary policy, as long as this market will allow them to, until something breaks. They're going to keep going with tight and tight until something snaps. And then they're going to pivot back. And after that pivot occurs, then it's too late to buy gold and silver at that point, I think. I really mean it. I really mean it's too late to buy gold and silver. But you'll still be able to get cryptos. Don't worry. But why I say too late to buy gold and silver is, unless you want to buy paper gold and silver, I mean, the real physical stuff is probably going to disappear. All of it. Silver and gold, especially silver. It's such a small, tight market, and there's so little of it out there. It's just going to disappear. But don't worry, it'll come back. After the price shoots up a few times, a few X's, then it'll come back. You'll be able to buy it again. But you're not going to buy it for these kind of prices. You're going to buy it for the XXX prices, triple X times higher. Then you'll be able to buy it again. Because there's lots of it. There's lots of it out there. It's just not going to be sold at these prices. It's going to be sold. It's going to come back on. It'll come back. It'll come back once the price goes up. That's the way with everything, I mean, just I've always used this for years. I've used this as an example. But, you go into the store and they got a big sale on canned milk. $2 a can on special. And then they put it on sale, $1.50 a can. And then they put it on for $1 a can. And you go in there to get some, it's all gone. Gone. They clean the shelf out. But then the new stuff comes in a couple weeks later. Smaller can, 4 times the price. And the can's only half as big, or 3/4 as big. And this is the whole game, and this is what same game we're playing here with silver right now. This is the price going to seem cheap compared to what's coming. Get you some of that, because your dollar is still going to be a dollar. Dollar ain't going nowhere. Ain't ever going to go nowhere, and it's just going to keep going on the path it's been going for the last 100 years. Do you know how much you could buy with $1? Well, even just a few years ago, you remember what you could buy with $1? Just back before COVID started, what you could buy with $1. You used to go in and they used to have specials on 2 Whoppers at Burger King, $1.99 before COVID. Or gasoline. What was it? What price was it? I think it was like $1.85 or something. Can't remember now. But just before COVID, in the grocery store, you go in there with $20, you could buy a whole couple big bags full of groceries. Now, you don't even get a half of one bag for $20. No. It's just that quick. I mean, it's getting worse by the day. So your dollar will still be worth $1. Don't worry. But what's the price of this stuff going to be ultimately in the end? Which wagon do you want to ride on? Do you want to ride on the dollar will still be worth a dollar wagon, or do you want to get on the wagon where a dollar might your dollar invested might be worth $5 or $10? Which would you rather have, $1 or $10? 1972 for gold. Cryptocurrency today, we're looking at 29,858. Ethereum at 1901. This stuff might have. Who knows about this stuff? What the plans are for it? Maybe they plan to counteract all the gold in China with Bitcoin. That would be a wild plan. But what price would they have to get Bitcoin up to try to do that? It'd have to be trillion. Oh, well, it is trillions. Just kidding around. Anyway, guys, take a look at the Dow Jones Industrial Average today. It's up 198 points at 35,149. Crude oil is at 76.92 on the day. Bonds and rates. U.S. 10 years at 3.78 and the U.S. 30 years at 3.89. You know, I'll tell you guys what. Do I think they're going to blow the world up in a nuclear war? Well, you know, they did at one time have the opportunity to blow the whole world up in a nuclear war. I think back during the Cold War when both sides built up far too many nuclear weapons, and they were all brand new and shiny, and the paint was all shiny on those nuclear weapons back then. You know? And then they started these arms reduction treaties, talks, and all this kind of stuff, and they really did reduce an awful lot of the world's weapons. Now they've got it down to the point where I don't think they can blow the entire world up anymore. They don't have enough of these nuclear weapons to go around to do that anymore. To create a massive nuclear winter, they probably need 100,000 nuclear weapons, and I think they've only got about 10,000 total. You know, about a tenth of what they need to blow the world up. But they could make one heck of a mess with the 10,000 that they got. But you know, probably half of them probably wouldn't even get off the launch pad. So now you're down to 5,000. And then probably half of those would get knocked down with interceptors. So now you're down to 2,500, you know. Probably not enough for a nuclear winter. You know, which and by the way, you know, I mean, unless you're right in the center of a city someplace, you know, or something like that, or that's been targeted or whatever, if there's a nuclear war, the biggest thing that you're going to notice on a personal level is that there is no services anymore. You're on your own. You know? And it would be the last of the wars anyway. It would teach them a lesson. It would teach the world a lesson so that we wouldn't have any more wars after that. Because the sheer magnitude of the event itself would, the people that lived after it would say, oh, we don't want no more of that. Because it would, but as far as survivability, yeah, I think it is survivable. You just got to have a few things in place in order to survive something like that. You got to have some food put away. I'm not talking about one meal. I'm talking about probably 600 meals per person put away. So count each person in your family and say, okay, 600. Can I make 600 meals, even if they're small, little, tiny meals? Okay, and you need water, so you need a filtration system. You need some charcoal. Not just any charcoal. You just can't go buy those lumps of charcoal at the grocery store that they use for charcoal briquettes. No, you got to have the right stuff. You got to have some sort of charcoal filter. Maybe a real water charcoal filter. The real one you buy, you know, might work if it's gravity fed. Filter thousands and thousands of gallons. You're going to need a filter of water. You're going to need something to keep the rain off of you. You know? And you can't rely totally 100% on your house or home, because you might have to get the boogie the heck out of there. So you want to have an escape vehicle. So you should have three things in place. Your home should be ready, for one thing. You should have an escape vehicle that's ready to go. First level escape vehicle, which would be maybe your car or your van or your truck. That's your first level escape vehicle. Full of gas. Always keep it full of gas. Never let it get down to a quarter tank or whatever, because you don't know when this thing's going to hit. From this point forward, it could catch you unawares. That's your first level vehicle, escape vehicle. Your second level escape vehicle is maybe a bicycle or whatever. And your final escape is your feet. You're going to be on foot, and bugging out basically. I mean, there's a lot of people out there who choose that. You only if you have to. In other words, what I'm saying is you look at your house as your primary means of making it through a disaster like this. Your home. Stay home. But if you're forced out of your house for one reason or another, maybe there's a toxic chemical spill or something near you that'll burn your lungs out or whatever, so you got to get out of there. Then it's your car. Only move down to the next level if you're forced to. So don't just go and leave your house and go out there on foot and avoid all these other levels down. Move each level down as you're forced to. So if you're forced out of your car, so you're forced out of your house because of a toxic spill, you go to get in, you use your car, and your car lights on fire and burns to the ground. Now you're forced out of your car. You can't use that. So then you got on your bicycle. Well, your bicycle, something happens, somebody steals it or it breaks or it gets run over by a truck or something, then you're forced off your bicycle, and you're forced to be on foot. Only go on foot if you're forced to. Because each level up is a level up better for you. You're better if you got a bicycle than if you're on foot. You're better off if you got a car rather than a bicycle. You're better off if you got a house rather than a car. Anyway, I'm dragging on here a little bit. Let's take a look now at the U.S. dollar today. 100.44. The dollar's going up today. Yeah, well, I mean, nothing goes down or up in a straight line. And the dollar's taken quite a beating lately. It was at 104. Thank you guys for listening to my show. Like and subscribe. We'll catch you guys in the next episode, and have a great day. Bye-bye.